Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Hello, hello,
Sometime,
hello.
hello.
Thank you everyone for waiting.
Yeah, sometimes the old ticker doesn't always go so well. I had to take some 160,000 heat cayenne pepper and throw some food in there. So, ah, but I'm here. Probably stressing from having to do paperwork. I hate to do it. We've got a vet coming to see the birds tomorrow, and I needed to make sure that I had everything nice together in a packet and on a jump drive and all that. So. Ah, you tell him, Mander. You tell him. You know. Mander's in here today. Aren't you, Mander?
Man, that are good news.
As long as I don't bring in the bird whose name begins with S, I can. And I put him
In
back there in
German,
his
it's
spot.
Schneeball.
Yeah, yeah, the Schneeball. That's it. He was on the bottom of the bars today, so it's like a 5 minute coax to get him off the bars. So I thought, well, Mander can come in here, and then Snowball will have to come out by himself. And Snowball can't come out with Lorelei, so I know. Arr, 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 arr. Arr, arr, arr. I can't make the sound you make. That's as close as I get, Mander. He's in here with Pippa and with Jasmine, so those aren't his favorites, but he's okay.
Manda's favorites?
Yeah, Lorelei would be his favorite.
Ah, his mommy.
He comes down and sits right next to Lorelei.
Hmm, that's sweet.
But as far as sometimes he gets along with Cecil. He and Sugar don't usually have a problem. Have I named everyone he's not nervous about? That's it. Yeah,
So
when you go to
let's.
the go ahead.
I wanted to greet the chatters who already arrived. So welcome to Rosebud Atkins. Hello, Lisa Banerjee. Welcome, Falcon Sue. And hello, Chairman Jamie. And Barbara Strickland is also here. So hello and welcome to everybody.
Hi
Also,
everybody.
Hello.
the workers.
Hello, Eleanor.
Hello.
Hi, Eleanor.
Yeah, we also have to give thanks to this certain owner of a health food store who told me about cayenne pepper because if I start to have a heart event, I take like 3 capsules, which I fill myself because it's too expensive to buy it any other way. But anyway, you take 3 capsules of cayenne pepper and an aspirin, and make sure you have plenty of food in your stomach, and then the problem goes away. But when I stress over paperwork, it can do that to me. What are you doing down there? So thank you, Linda. She's the one who told me about cayenne.
It's
And
a
it's
good
not,
trick.
yeah, it's not heartburn. Heartburn, people think, oh, am I having a heart attack? No, that if you're thinking, am I having a heart attack? You're probably not having one. But if there's an elephant jumping on your chest, yeah. Or your vision is getting blurred, you got high blood pressure, yeah. But what are you doing? What are you doing? Works pretty fast too. I took the capsules maybe 10 minutes ago. So, of course, I put a little bit loose in my mouth because that gets it through the capillaries into your bloodstream and starts it going. But what are you doing, Cecil? That's an old toy. That used to have a rattle in it. You like to take those out, don't you? Yeah. And then we have KK down here in his favorite spot. KK. And Sugar just sleeping up there. Oh, she goes, I'm just sitting. Oh, I'm just sitting here. And Pippa.
She already
And
talked, had some opinions. Lucy.
a
Yeah,
Lucy
I know
bird.
you, Pippa. The goose.
There's the Jazz. And Mander's back in his safe spot. So, gotta have my safe space, man. I need my safe space. Dude. Right, Mander?
Oh, it's scary being Manda.
It is. It's one thing when you go to the vet and you're taking, a bird in, but when you have 12 that have to be examined in one day, you have a lot of information to put together. Unfortunately, I was able to I had kind of a handwritten sketch of what I wanted to have written, and then I just had Chat GPT format it, put everything in alphabetical order, create a sheet that has them lined up so they can just hand it to the vet so she knows what bird she's looking at, what the problems are, all in one kind of thing. And then when you forget something, you go, Chat GPT, could you please update that with all the dosages, current dosages for the Haldol, and it adds them in. Fortunately, I don't have to draw that up myself anymore. It takes too much time, but I still have to get the information together. So, what are you doing? Why are you asking? You playing with a piece of wood? Good boy. Why did you bother me? I was busy. So it's another holiday in the United States, and you know what the last word in every U.S. holiday is? It's the Memorial
Sale.
Day sale. That's right. It's the Memorial Day sale. And I make a point, since I'm a veteran, I make a point when I get any kind of advertising for something on Saturday or on Memorial Day, I don't buy it. So don't send me an ad if you're a big company on Memorial Day, because I won't be buying anything from you for a while. It's just rude. It's not supposed to be all about, making
Yeah,
money, but
it's kind of insulting, isn't it?
it is. It is insulting. It's one of those days that, when you're talking about something like Labor Day. Labor Day is a false holiday in the U.S. anyway, but Memorial Day is the one that pissed me off. Labor Day should be May 1st because everywhere else in the world it is, but they don't want you joining with the other workers, so they put it on a different day. Cecil, what are you doing? He's been playing around more. Not so much hanging over here. He's been playing on a perches for once.
Probably he is a little bit upset because he is not allowed anymore to sit on KK. KK said no, and well, Cecil didn't understand. So why says KK no? Suddenly. Don said no as well. Cecil, tough life.
Yeah, poor Cecil. Just not happy. Hello, why are you flipping around on me? The screen's going weird on me here.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Um, Poor Cecil. He just can't get what he wants. He wants to have Lorelai in here, and he can't have that. And he wants to climb on his buddy, and he's not allowed to do that. His buddy doesn't like it either. Your buddy doesn't like that either. Doesn't like you sitting on top of him. He doesn't do anything but like sit on him, but You can sit next to him. That's fine, but you're not going to climb on him. So we're going to talk a little bit today about evidence-based medicine, allopathic medicine. Now, if you're one of those people who, uh, has ancestors that came from ancient Assurbanipal, and you want to pray to the gods of Ur to help your bird, that's fine as long as you also go to the vet. All right? That's fine. But even at the vet, you may occasionally run into somebody who is, harebrained. A good example of that is in the clinical avian medicine, which is probably the standard for avian medicine. The 2-volume set. It tells you how to do surgery and, goes into great detail about all that. Also has a section on homeopathic medicine, which is like saying, wow, let's bring in the fairy dust because that doesn't mean anything. It's totally useless. It doesn't do anything, but except, might make you feel better. Oh, I gave them something, and it didn't have any side effects. Well, it may have a side effect. Your bird may die from lack of medicine, but so even there, you have to be careful. And you can go to a vet, and the vet may tell you, there's this new process, we can use this scanner from the planet Xeno, and and shoot the bird with all these magic waves, and it will heal it. When they start talking like that, do a little research and confirm that they're not just climbing out of their tree, okay? Because veterinarians are humans too, and they may occasionally have a brain fugue. And it's not just that. You can also run into some medicines that your vet will, hey, no, don't do it. I see you, Peppa. Peppa, no. Peppa, no. I don't need it. No, leave him alone. Peppa, don't do it. Don't do it. No. No, you'll be out of here. Don't do it. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl.
Mhm.
Good girl. Good girl. Yeah, there you go. Good girl.
That's
That's
very
a
energetic,
good girl.
Pepper.
Good girl.
So
Yeah,
much
see, I'm a good
excitement.
girl. Yeah, there's a medicine. I won't mention the name because you know how these companies are. They'll come after you. But there's a medicine that's being, I will use the word pimped around the veterinary world to replace meloxicam. Meloxicam is what you use if you're trying to, it's a painkiller, right? And an anti-inflammatory. So that's what we generally use on parrots if there's a pain or inflammation. Well, this other drug is not proven to work on parrots. It was originally the FDA sued the company that produces the drug because they were selling it to doctors to use on people with no evidence that it would work on the particular problem. They were just like seeing how much money they could make with this drug. So once the FDA clamped down on them, then they went after the veterinary market. And so when your vet recommends anything other than meloxicam, ask them why. Say, excuse me, Dr. Sue or whatever, why are you recommending this? Isn't meloxicam, the Metacam is another name for it, isn't that the standard for inflammation? And when they say, oh, we have this new, just say, no, thank you. I'll go with the meloxicam. So, or the Metacam. It's got a bunch of different names, but I'll go with the industry standard that's been proven. So,
Go with the one that has the track record.
yeah, yep. So stay away from, now, there are times where experimental treatments are advised. Good example, Peaches when she had coronavirus and she was going to die. Little question of that. there is a drug that I had to inject in her uh, 3 times a week into her chest. Not much fun to do, but it kept her alive for a few more months, and it was worth it. But I was told, I mean, from the start, Dr. Jenkins said, we don't want her to suffer, so you might want to put her down. I said, you don't know Peaches. She wants to live, and she did. Up until that last day when she finally went, she was living every moment she could. So there are times when you're at the end and you know that you can try something experimental. Well, maybe at that time it's worth it, but not when you're taking them in and you've got an inflammation and they go, oh, this company just produced this and we're using this now. No, you're not. You're using Medicam. Thank you.
So let's greet a couple of more chatters. Let's see, where did I stop? I think here. So hello and welcome, Jocelyn Griggle. Then Buktia Shah is here saying, beautiful family, love you so much. Thank you, Buktia. Then Barbara Strickland, thanks you, Don, for your service. I think that's
Pippa,
Welcome,
give it up.
everyone.
what's happening in chat.
Pippa, no. Pippa, no. Pippa, no. No. Pippa, no. 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 Well, I know. I understand. I understand why you're doing that, but leave him alone. Pippa, no. That's not happening. Get out of there. Go on. No. Move. Move. Get off there. Move. Go back here. Go sit over there. Go on. Don't do it. No. Pippa.
Oh no.
Mander, you can't come down here because he's down here, you silly bird. I can't defend you on two fronts. I can't do it. Don't get no. No. Hello.
That was a bad
Huh?
move, Manda. Now you're stuck.
Oh no, Lucy is also on. How come people, birds, leave Mander alone? He's such a precious bird.
I think his Krell mind expansion treatment didn't work.
Mm. It was the beta positron carbon dioxide gamma wave machine from the planet Zob.
Mander?
He's
He's
under the
gone.
couch.
Okay.
He's been teleported to another dimension.
No! 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 Come on! Pippa! No, no, no. Come on. Come here. Step up. Step up. Step up.
Need to play the Benny Hill music. And they run from
It's the life.
that.
If he would just stay, and or move around slowly, but no, he has to rush up on her.
Manda! Oh, you're all tough now that she's in the cage.
Oh.
Well, he wants to climb under the cage, but he's not so sure about doing it while she's in the cage. I think that's what's going on.
Oh, he wants to hide and cower under it, but she's in
Yeah,
it.
that's his hiding spot. There he goes.
Goodness.
Man, you are such a nut.
Oh, he's a cutie.
Oh, poor Mander.
Oh, that's funny watching him waddle around under there. My goodness.
And again.
Oh, no. He's
Poor
under.
Mander.
Well, he'll calm down.
Poor boy.
Don't you
But
get
Cecil
involved.
behaved, so at
Cecil,
least
leave him alone.
one good news. Cecil.
Yeah, Cecil's looking at him like, I'm going to go after him now because he's scared, and I like to mess with scared birds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not nice, Cecil.
We should get him a little super chicken outfit. Super chicken. I think he's going to stay under the couch now. Mander. Now you have to remember too that veterinarians are just like doctors in this respect. Actually, they're usually a little better than doctors because doctors they get to ask you where it hurts, but the veterinarian can't do that. So, but these pharmaceutical companies come knocking at their door saying, if you sell this, we'll give you a 20%, 20% spiff, and we're going to give you a little money for pimping our drug. And that's how they get it into the market. Like, well, this works too. Some vets will check it out. I know one vet who knows about the drug I'm talking about who said, no, I'm not using that. There's no evidence for it that it works. Why would I use it? So, but when they come in and they're trying to sell you this stuff, some vets don't double check the salesman's big selling points. Oh, this works for this and this and that. Really, show me where are the clinical studies by third parties, by companies that aren't associated with you. So,
And at the end of the day, they're trying to run a business. So the pharmaceutical companies are trying to sell their drug, so they sell it to the vet, and the vet sells it to you, and they make money. So you got to follow the money.
yep.
And that's
But
not to say all vets are in it for the money. There's some
oh no,
are and some aren't, but you should always have it in the back of your mind.
I know two avian vets that wouldn't touch the drug I'm talking about. They wouldn't even consider using it because there's no evidence. But there are some who will, and I know it because I've had people tell me, "Oh, they put my drug on, my bird on this drug," and it's like there's no evidence it works for that. And they say, "Well, it seems to work." I say, "Oh, congratulations. Let me introduce you to confirmation bias. You spent your money on something, so you want to believe it works, right?" I always use that example of my dad. Anytime he saw a woman driving erratically, he'd say woman driver, but he never said that about men, even though just as many men, if not more, were doing the same kind of behavior. So that's confirmation bias. So,
Because if you look at the statistics, women are safer drivers.
yeah, that's right.
And the insurance companies know that because they work out the premiums, and that's why women pay less.
Of course, there's a joke about that too. I'll get in trouble for this joke, but the reason that women are better drivers is they don't have a woman nagging them while they're driving. Um, I know that's not true, but it's just a joke. But
That's funny though.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, so in most cases, you're not going to run into this, but when they whip out some kind of machine you've never seen before, and then oh God, I think I saw that machine. Wasn't that on that movie Forbidden Planet with Robbie the Robot? Wasn't that where I saw that? Um, you want to start asking questions, and by mean asking questions, I mean not just asking your vet. So, you can pop in. The easiest way is to pop in and say, Chat GPT. You go in and say, I'm being offered this particular drug for this situation for my bird. Is there any evidence, any clinical evidence that this is effective? And it will tell you what the clinical evidence is. It's not going to tell you whether or not you should use it, but it can go through and it has all that information. So it can tell you. So otherwise, you can search the web adding DVM to whatever the search is. You say whatever the drug is, effective, whatever the disease is, and then put DVM, and then you can search it that way. Always add DVM, because if you don't get doctor of veterinary medicine in there, you'll probably get somebody who's trying to sell the thing or people who don't know what they're talking about. So a lot of that going on Facebook, and or people will make suggestions, use this or that, but there can be problems with all of that stuff. If they're not veterinarians, they don't know. So, right? Right, KK? How you doing in there? Hmm? She says that's just the way it is. You're not supposed to put the you're actually not supposed to put the white birds in jail.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
But
Pippa. She could stare in some remake of Jurassic Park. No problem.
yeah, see, I know she's not going to mess with Lucy. They don't really get into any issues. I still have to watch though to make sure that she doesn't get too close to her feet. But
Mm.
it's not something she would normally do. Otherwise, I'd put her in the other place. Oh, you're back in the world, huh? Well,
Oh,
okay.
Mander. Mander's
Yeah,
back.
but he's still running around like a crazy bird.
Mm.
Well, you got KK watching you now. That's real trouble.
Mm. I know why Cake is watching him, because Mander wants to come over.
You can't come over when KK is there. All right, out from under there. Cecil, that's my arm. You almost got me. Not that you knew, but you didn't know that because you couldn't see my arm. Gotta watch him with the canvas because he'll start biting things that are on the other side of a canvas without knowing what they are. Won't you? Won't you? You're a good bird, but you do strange things. So, as I was saying, there is a drug. The FDA went after the company who made the drug, and they won the lawsuit against them for selling it for the wrong purpose, that are now selling that drug to the veterinarians. Again, with no proof that it does what they say it does. So, I've had this argument with some people I know too. Don't I wouldn't use it. Well, and then finally they had to take the bird off of it because it was starting to have starting to have seizures, probably due to that drug. So sad to say. Funny, took the bird off the drugs, umbrella cockatoo, and the problems went away. Yeah, and another thing, just because a drug is new and fancy doesn't mean it's good. I'll give you an example. Get out of there. No, no. Cecil, no. Get out. Get out of the canvas. No, I don't want you in there. I didn't talk. I'm not talking to the peanut gallery. No, I'm not. Pippa, I told you not to do it. I would let you out, but he'll freak out again, and we're right back where we were. I'll do that when I don't have a phone in my hand. But years ago, they had a chip that had a kind of fat that your body can't absorb. There were potato chips called Wow chips, okay? But they didn't really study the side effects of these chips because if you sat down and ate half a bag of those potato chips, as I was wont to do, and if you did that, if you would have done that like in your car or something on lunch, you would have had to go home to change your clothing. Because uh, believe me, after you ate those potato chips, you'd go in the bathroom and you'd go, "Wow!" uh, it was like greasing a slippery, like one of those slides the kids have in their playgrounds. You know, if you were to grease one of them, they'd go flying down. That's just what it was like. So bright,
That's a
new,
lovely description.
yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. But um, so just because it's bright and shiny and new doesn't mean that you should use it. In most cases, the older techniques work, the older drugs, the older treatments. There's some things you just can't treat with these guys, though. So you can use palliative treatment, which is basically you keep them from suffering for as long as you can. But now I'm not necessarily a big fan of the FDA, but because they can get paid off to let things through too. You never know. They might get paid off to allow something like certain drugs during a pandemic, something like that. You never know. But um, still, that's your best bet. It's something that's FDA approved. Somebody has come along. There have been clinical studies done on the drug. We know it works. Um, we know what the side effects are, and so you can take your little thing that looks like something from Star Trek, that one of those crazy Martians or other people from another planet are wielding to do things, and they start waving it around your bird, and um, that reminds me, I got to tell another joke, but the guy takes his dog in because his dog is sick and really sick, and they got the dog on the table, and they take a blood sample, they run it through the machine, and they come back, and after they've done all this, the vet comes in with a cat and takes the cat and just moves the cat all around the dog, and then takes the cat back out. And the dog's doing better after they give it some medicine. And the client says, "What is this $5,000 charge on here for?" And the doc goes, "Oh, that's for the CAT scan."
Groan.
I know, terrible, but the point is, anybody watching somebody doing something like should be questioning, why are you doing that, right? So where's the actual effectiveness of that? So, um, Cecil's got his. You haven't completely destroyed that toy yet, but you will, right? And birds have their metabolisms are highly sensitive, so one small mistake can cause all kinds of horrors. So, and then there's the other side of it. If it does nothing, you're paying for something that makes you feel good because it's a new therapy, right? Yeah, with this gadget from the planet Eros, but it doesn't do anything, so your bird's not going to get better, right? So being a responsible caregiver means ask questions. And when the vet says, "Oh, this new therapy," as soon as you hear the word "new," or they talk about this therapy, you say, "Well, how long has it been around? Is there any material I can read on this? Do you have any handouts that explain how this works? Can you point to a study where it was used?" And if they can't, just say, "No, I'd rather not do that. Well, let me research this some more. Let's just do the normal palliative care, whatever's necessary that we know works. Even if it's not that effective, at least we know it works, right?" You having fun up there, Shug? So you ask the vet, then you check to see if it's FDA approved for birds, and you can do that. You can just say drug FDA approval. I mean, it's that easy to search. Look to see if there's any scientific studies. Red flags. You see a whole bunch of marketing online. Oh, and you hear people on Facebook going, "Oh, there's this new drug, this new drug." Yeah, okay. As soon as you see that, you know that's a red flag. So trust your instincts. If it sounds too good to be true, it's probably been designed by Cecil. Well, I mean, it's probably not true, right, Cecil? Ah, so only use proven safe treatments unless the bird is already, you've got a bird that's getting ready to pass on, and you're sure that's where it's headed, and there's some experimental drugs. Well, that's the time when you do it in the human world, and that's the time when you should do it if you're going to do it with your bird. But always evaluate: is it better for your bird? Are they suffering so much that you you should probably let them, be put down, or is it, will this palliative or experimental drug could it give them some more time where they can enjoy life? You have to be able to balance that out. And only you can make that choice. But and there are some birds here that if they were at that point, like Peaches was, I would have said yes to Dr. Jenkins. Let's do it because I know the ones that would really suffer. But Peaches was like, I'm gonna live. She was just adamant. She did everything she could to survive, and she maintained that happiness till the last day. But some don't. So you have to. It's an individual call. Are you going to whack me in the head again? So if you are a particular faith and you want to pray for your bird and you want to, you have do something mystical to help your bird, that's fine. But be sure that you're also including real veterinary care with that. So, any questions or comments? I'm trying to look at the comments. I have to turn the phone in a different direction to do that. Ouch. It cost you $1,400 for Rosebud to get your CAT scan. Yeah, I was checking that out on an app that's strictly for the Chinese, and somebody asked that question. A CAT scan for a human being in China, if they do your whole body, is $200. So $1,400 for a CAT scan. I mean, the specialty in the veterinary world, I can understand it. That really should be cheaper. Yeah, those CAT scans are can be life saving in many cases. So sometimes an X-ray will do, but it doesn't get it. Sure doesn't get everything. MRI is the best if you can get it, but those are priced out of the world here too.
There's a question from Falkensee. What about topical applications like aloe vera?
No, not unless it's approved. The only thing I use on their skin is Silvadene, and I get the prescription from a veterinarian, an avian veterinarian. Their skin is not like ours. Ours has got 7 layers to it. Theirs has 3, and in some cases, there's only 3 cells between the outer layer and the inner layer. And when you put aloe vera on, it's going in their bloodstream. So who knows what that's going to do? So avoid anything that hasn't been approved by your vet to go on the skin. I use Superclot, and I mentioned that to Dr. Jenkins, and he said, "Well, I haven't seen any evidence on using that." Then I told him about um, Dr. Her name escapes me in Virginia. He's retired, but I told him about that particular doctor and that he uses it all the time. He's like, oh, okay, then as long as it's been tested. But yeah, he immediately jumped on me. Well, where did you get that idea? Well, I got it from another vet. It was an avian vet, you know. So I wouldn't be putting it on their skin if I didn't have approval. And I don't make those decisions myself. I let the avian vets make that decision. And if I didn't have an avian vet, I would just pay for the call to Dr. Jenkins and or Dr. Young, and I'd ask them that question, you know, in a consultation. So if you don't live close to an avian vet, you can make an arrangement to do phone consultations or FaceTime consultations. So, right, sugar? Sea salt. You gotta be fun. Sea salt. Camera here. It would make this easier. Camera. Front camera. Now, you're gonna move now, aren't you? I said front camera. When did you switch? Right. Yeah, you can put something on their skin and you don't realize it's going into their bloodstream too. So, I mean, who knows what aloe vera does in their blood? So, it's not like our blood. It may look similar, but it is not. Right, Cecil? He says, I'm just going to beat you up for a while. So for skin, Silvadene, and only from an avian vet, or at least recommended, whatever it is from an avian vet. You can buy some products that are similar on like Amazon, but they're not Silvadene. They're something similar, but the other things that are in there could be a problem for your bird. So that's on my list to see if I can get some Silvadene. Mine is out of date now, and I need to get that with a new vet. So what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, and no one knows everything. So like with Dr. Jenkins, when I asked him about superclot, he wasn't happy to hear that because I was using something he hadn't recommended, but it was Dr. Burkett, the doctor who recommended it, but who uses it all the time. But once he knew that Dr. Burkett was, you know, using it all the time, then he was okay with it. So yeah, aloe vera I don't think is going to cause their skin to last or something, but who knows what it does in their bloodstream, how it affects their blood chemistry. So and that's a desert plant you're putting on a tropical bird. So I don't know. That's nice. Whacking me? Are you whacking me? Yeah, the last time I heard somebody talk about aloe vera was that bird I mentioned before that had these brown spots on its wings. It was a yellow crown. It was a yellow crowned Amazon, and that was due to a liver infection that causes the yeast to form on the wings. And someone was saying put aloe vera on it, and you know, a couple of weeks later that bird would have been dead from the liver problem. But got it to the vet. The vet was able to give antibiotics, and the bird was fine. So you're having fun beating me up, are you? Hmm? Ah, silly bird. Have you calmed down now, Pippa? You gonna behave? Can I let you out? She's sitting calmly in the cage now. Ow, you monster. That's my face. That's my face. That's my face. Now, if you're dealing with cats and dogs, I don't think there's, you're dealing with a mammal, I don't think there's any problem. I would still check with the vet, but I don't think there's any problem using aloe vera on a mammal, but I still prefer to always check on anything I'm giving an animal. So, and you're a big animal, is what you are. You're an animal. But you just took the rattle out of it. See how you are? I've got to go back to the other ones. These are nice, but they're snapped together, and he just pops them apart. The other ones at least are cemented together, so it's harder for him. Well, thank you guys for being here. Don't forget we have merchandise that Amy has put together. Some really beautiful stuff out there. And
I think we have another question. Can we still do it, Don?
Sure, go ahead.
It's from Jem and Jamie. What the best way to find a new vet when you move?
Well, I know what worked for me was I went to ChatGPT and I said, "Are there any avian veterinarians, close to my city and state?" Um, and it came right up with one that everybody told me there wasn't a vet in this town who would see birds. Okay, so that's a good way. Otherwise, you need to put in your town and then put in avian vet. Um, you can't trust the Avian Veterinary Association because anybody can sign up. Any veterinarian can sign up to be a member, even if they're not avian vets. So don't look there. Um, you can look there if they say they are an avian vet, and then you can look and see the letters after their name, and that'll tell you. But you can just do a Google search. ChatGPT search is better, but that will work. And then if they have a website, if you can find them on Yelp or one of those social sites that looks to see, where they get good comments, make sure that, they don't have like 3 out of 5 stars and a lot of complaints, that kind of thing.
All right, so Jem and Jamie just donated $13 to us. So thank you so much. And I can read your comment. Happy Memorial Day. Thanks for your service, Dawn.
No,
Thank you, Diamond Gaming. Thanks for your donation.
Thank you. I actually did write a. Go ahead.
Jocelyn Driggle just wrote in chat that she got Cinnamon out of her harness. That a great news.
Yeah, good grief. Yeah, in some ways it is more difficult to get them out than it is to get them in. So I was a little out of practice the last time I had to put Bob in. This was recently. So, but I did write a haiku for Memorial Day. If anybody knows what a haiku is, it's a Japanese form, but if you do it in English, it is 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and 5 syllables. And the one I wrote was um, the unknown. Yeah, the unknown soldier. May their grave lie in the past. The soldier unknown.
Beautiful. Spirit
Nice,
Matter
nice.
would have another question.
Sure, go ahead.
What initials does an avian vet have after their name?
You would ask that, and I don't remember. Hold on, because there's more than one. So I can't type, so I'm in trouble here. Avian practice is DABVP. And somebody who is an exotics vet would have DACZM. Also, AEMV for a certified mammal exotic. So you're actually looking for, it would say like John Smith, DVM, DABVP.
Okay, now we need to find a bridge to remember that. Let's think about that until next live
It's
stream.
easy. It's easy. The AM, avian medicine. Doctor of avian medicine. Okay. Veterinary
I
practice.
thought about something more fancy with Molukken and I don't know.
Well, thank you for all being here. Thank you, Amy and Eleanor, for moderating. And I'm going to sit and let Cecil beat me up for a while. So
And thank
thanks
you,
for
Don, for
waiting.
the stream.
Oh, you're welcome. And thanks for waiting. I had to take my cayenne pepper. So we will talk to you guys soon. Wednesday. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
The Chloe Sanctuary for Parrots and Cockatoos, a non-profit charity dedicated to the empowerment of captive parrots and public awareness.